Welcome everybody to the Daily Crossing episode number 52. Lorena Pernalete, great to see you.
Good to
Alexis
see you.
Smith, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good.
I hear you cannot wait to get into the real cold weather in New York. That you're going to be heading out there soon
Yes,
because
yes,
you
yes.
hate this nice, almost perfect weather that we have going on in the state
Makes
of
me
Florida
sick.
right now.
It's so
Right.
nice, yes.
It's so perfect.
It's
It's
like-
so nice. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like that you wake up in the morning and it's sunny
You
and
wanna
it's
just-
cool and she's like, I can't
It's
even get
depressed.
angry. How do you get angry? You know what I mean?
You gotta
It's
slap
like-
somebody just to even out the day, you know?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's just too nice. So how do you fix
Okay.
that? You go to New York.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And
I think it was
The
snowing
most
there.
miserable place on earth.
but then it
But
makes
that-
sense.
that's
Like,
where, that's
it's
where you
like-
gotta hug
It
somebody.
makes sense. You know what I mean?
Gaza is
Yeah,
what
like-
Gaza is
You
right
gotta hug
now.
Yeah.
somebody over there to even it out.
Painful.
Oh,
Painful.
God.
With that being said, guys, we got a couple of things that we definitely need to cover. We need to cover this because we know that everybody is trying to get a perspective about what happened in Iowa. Is it a good thing to Vivek without hesitation? And again, maybe that's a little bit of the background, the business background that kicks in to say, look at the numbers, you look at the math, and you said, I don't need to pretend that I'm going to be going somewhere with this thing. I'm stopping, and I'm also endorsing the other guy, right? Let's go to the election. Like, guys, it couldn't be. You're talking about the worst possible weather.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time it was that bad. Guess who was like
Record-breaking.
working every stop possible? Donald Trump coming in with the highest number, 51%. DeSantis at a 21%. Number two. Haley was celebrating her number 3, Nikki Haley.
Like she was number
Like
one.
she was the one who just took the whole thing, you know what I mean? And again, Vivek Ramaswamy, being somebody that only came in 7 to 8%, immediately made the decision to say, listen, we're going to stop this. This is his final message and sequence of statements. There's only 2 American first candidates running in this election. He said, I need to support the other guy that actually has better chances. So call Donald Trump, congratulated him. He said, from this point on, I'm going to be supporting, immediately showed up in New Hampshire, you know what I mean, to make a stop. And again, he's going to continue to campaign for Donald Trump. And I think that that's an interesting perspective because these 2 guys have that outsider factor, you know what I mean, that is not necessarily welcome. How do you feel about what happened here and what's coming out of it?
For me, I actually I like Vivek since the beginning, he was somebody that for a moment there, he kind of scared me a little bit.
With what exactly?
There was a lot of stuff coming out, and he seemed like he was bending every which way. And then I realized as I was going deeper and deeper that it was more connected to what were being fed in the media
Correct.
versus what was actually happening.
Remember that every candidate, one way or the other, is always accused of flip-flopping.
Right.
Some of them really
And
do.
some of them do. No,
and
this
some
guy-
others, they
right.
want to make you believe.
Right.
I do have a reason why I was a little concerned about his process, but it's
Right.
not that. But,
So that was it, and then looking at him actually being like, okay, got it. This didn't necessarily pan out the way that I wanted to. Therefore, let's go ahead and throw our weight behind Trump. I think that was the best thing for me. It's like phenomenal to see those 2 guys in the campaign trail. They also had a moment there that I think people wanted to blow it out of proportion more than it was, which was that exchange of tweets with the picture that happened and the true social post and stuff like that. It was just people throwing more fuel to a fire that, it was just
the
kind of like an
PVD
exchange.
podcast concluded that what triggered that answer, Trump is one of those guys that's not going to let anything go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So one of his campaign managers, Vivek campaign managers, put something that if you're Donald Trump, that sounds like a provocation. It's like a Michael Jordan type of moment, right?
Right,
Like
right.
he's a guy who's not gonna help but to respond to certain situations. So they narrowed it down to that very specific tweet that was sent out that was retweeted by Vivek.
Right.
And so what they're saying is, if you're retweeting something, you're essentially saying, I agree with the statement, right?
Right.
And so they figured that it was not the message that was put out by the other guy, but the fact that he retweeted that, then Trump has said, listen, we're not going to let it slide. You know what I mean? We've been quiet with you because you've been quiet about us and you've been saying nice things about us. So then he went ahead and took that position, but it's a guy that First of all, I don't know where he finds the time to be reading all these messages.
I know, right?
But says a lot about the guy. But he's a guy that's not gonna let it slide. You know what I mean? You're gonna say you are entitled to say whatever you want to say about him. Get ready because something is coming back at you if it matters, right? What
Yeah,
about
so for me, I think Vivek, he's smart. Obviously, he's a smart individual, and I feel like it's either a play on he already knows now is not his time, so I got.
Can you see him in the future? Can you see him?
Definitely.
Can you
He's-
see
definitely.
this
He's gonna
man
be part of
being
the-
one day the
somewhere.
president of the United States?
I don't know about president, but I think he could play a very important role.
Why-
in the
why not all
direction.
the way to
I'm just
presidential
not sure.
status?
It's like I said, I feel like it's still too early to tell. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I'm not sure. I don't know if I would go that far yet.
Okay.
And it depends on how he looks or what.
Will you
what
be
type of
okay if
role.
he was playing any role
Yeah,
at any
absolutely.
level
Absolutely,
of government?
absolutely,
Why not?
absolutely.
Why not?
And so I think he understands that, which is why he's like, all right, even if I'm not necessarily going to be president, that doesn't mean I can't position myself to still be a big factor in where the country is going. So I think him doing this is showing that that's a part of his intentions, or it could just be, all right, my time is just not now. I get that. So let me still make sure I'm in the circle as much as I can be, even if it's not with me trying to lead the
Yeah.
group. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But like I said, I still feel like even now it's still a little early. There's a lot that can happen in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Between all the different candidates as far as what's going to happen. I mean, it looks like Trump is going to take it, but there's still so many things that can happen. I'm not 100%.
Like what?
Like he can.
Like
Is
he could
there-
be in jail.
Yes.
That-
Correct.
Can I tell you though? Other than
The presidential debate is
Yeah.
gonna have to be on StreamYard.
other than this man, I mean, other than somebody absolutely killing him, I
it's
just
not
I
funny,
don't
but yeah, I
I
get you.
really
Yeah, yeah.
I mean I just don't. I don't see how at this point. I mean, I
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
myself the question:
Yeah.
Is there a path for DeSantis? Is there a path for Haley? Is there, you know what I mean? And I just don't see
Well,
it.
to me, I
know
feel
what I
like
mean?
the one path will be if something crazy happens. I'm not gonna say they go as far as trying to kill him, but let's say he ends up in jail, he can't run somehow. Then that opens the door for somebody like a DeSantis. You
Yeah,
know, so,
no, at this point, listen, at this point, the way even some of the cases are playing out, it doesn't look like they're going to have the kind of strength that they were hoping for.
Gotcha.
So at this point, it's almost like they're going to have to look for something
Yeah.
else.
And not only that, like I said, I think all the candidates need to be thinking about, all right, well, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to mess up and have
Yeah.
another Biden.
And let me also just to give you a perspective about this endorsement from Vivek to Trump, right? He was very consistent from the very beginning. Never went after Trump. Made
No,
it very
he
clear.
defended him multiple
If
times.
he actually gets arrested and I get in, you know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean.
then help.
The
Yes.
pardon
Correct,
will take
correct.
place. He was to the extent of calling him, one of the best presidents that we had in the last 100 years, if you want. I think he went that far back
He's setting his generation.
in his generation.
Yeah.
And to top it off, I mean, except for this incident, you know what I mean? Like, is a guy that has always maintained a very clear, consistent position. And to top it off, to take the action immediately also shows some level of loyalty to, I would say, not just to Trump, but loyalty to the country first. You know
Right.
what I mean? Just to say, listen, guys, I'm telling you, this is the better route for us to go. And I'm sure there's some people that are not happy about it, but the fact of the matter is that that's an incredible reality.
But what do you
of
think
that.
out of that 7-8% that was in Iowa? Let's just say that represents the country. What percentage, make it 100%, what percentage of that 7-8% goes to Trump, DeSantis, and Haley? Saying,
I would say the zero goes to Haley.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And everything else can
100%.
be divided between
Yeah.
Trump and DeSantis.
Would
you
you
know what I
say
mean?
50-50,
I would say a
60-40?
60-40 because you have a lot of people that are not necessarily crazy about Trump, but they see Trump-like things in Vivek, you know what I mean? Like qualities, you know what I mean? And but they not necessarily. Listen, the situation with Trump is always going to boil down to a personality that you're going to have to find a way to swallow some of the things that are like not. It's like, come on, how can you possibly say that? How can you have no self-control? How can? But then again, it's like one way or the other. You know what I mean?
By the way,
uh,
on his winning speech, he was very like
very
That was-
presidential. To be
That
quite
was
honest with you.
very
Like,
kind. I'm
exactly.
like, oh,
Very,
he didn't
very, very,
slam dunk
again,
and like.
very presidential. It wasn't.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think that Haley was a lot more cockier than he was.
Yeah. On her third
DeSantis went in there. I
place.
think he took 3 minutes and 25 seconds to be able to, okay, guys, we're moving on to the next one. Great
Yeah.
job. Thank you so much. And it's almost like at this point, I'm telling you, the only reason why he's not getting out is because Haley's not getting out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to get out before she gets out.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to stay there until it's time to go to North Carolina because that's where she has to get out because she's going to lose her own state.
South Carolina.
South, it was
Yeah,
South
yeah,
Carolina,
South
right?
Carolina.
And so how do you, listen, when you know that you're going to lose your own state and you're not going to
it's
have
not
your own
good.
support at that point, it's not going to look well.
By
Um,
X.
For me, guys, I don't see it on any other way
Yeah.
other than I think that there's an absolute clear path, and like you're saying, unless something crazy,
Yeah.
unexpected happens,
Which,
these are the
unfortunately,
candidates.
we've seen crazy stuff happen
From
in the
the
past.
ice cream eating side.
Or the
How are you feeling about
or
that?
the
issue?
cocaine in the gun
Yeah,
pouch side.
That department that deals with. What do you think he'll make it to?
Yes, he's gonna. Believe it or not, that's what I'm saying. I'm still not sold on.
You don't think he's gonna be replaced by another candidate?
No, not right now. No, and like I said, because I think there's.
I mean, in
entities,
general, not just right now. I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah.
as we
Like
get
you're
closer
saying,
to-
November 2024, we're gonna be voting for Trump versus Biden again.
It's 100% a possibility, and if that happens, there's 100% a possibility he can still win. I don't know. I think there's enough, and not because he's doing anything right, but I think there's enough people who want to see it happen for their own agenda, where they will make it happen. And if it does happen, it's just
How do you
proven
explain that though?
that
how do you
there's
explain
more corruption than we
when you
think there
see
is.
so many things going wrong? But let's talk about except for drug dealers
Mm-hmm.
that right now are having a field day bringing things through the border.
Yeah.
Can you name any other entity, institution that can actually say by creating this level of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
we all win? Is there anybody that you can think of that you can say, now maybe in terms of more power, more control, how are you gonna come out of the other side? Are,
Yeah.
are you gonna be able to destroy your enemies? Are you gonna?
Yeah, so
Uh,
who it's gonna be places like China, you get what I'm saying, or anybody who
But
has
that's outside of the country.
no, but what I'm
But
saying, but
that's-
they definitely can influence people inside the country that can benefit them. So I don't want somebody like Trump who's gonna put his foot down to say, oh no, whatever you thought was happening isn't happening again. So then I think there's a lot of entities, not good ones or not ones that have our best interest at heart, that can vouch to see him winning. And if any strings they can pull, any money they can spend to help support that, I think they're going to do that. So if he makes it to the primary, there's a huge possibility he can win. And like I said, that's a problem for us, obviously. But it's unfortunate.
Donald Trump right now has about 660 significant endorsements. And when I mean significance, again, from politicians or business people that will carry, people that, when politicians are running for something, they want those endorsements. Ron DeSantis has about 51, Nikki Haley only about 17.
Yeah.
And again, the 17 that she has are related to the so-called war machine that everybody's warning us about, right? But again, it almost makes a lot of sense that Vivek said, hey, so he becomes part of that 660, 670.
Gotcha.
So he's getting traction
Yeah.
in the right way, and but I think that's going to be the outcome. You know what I mean? That's going to be the election that's coming up.